Breaking news. The Senate amended HB 7055 late Friday afternoon. The new version of the bill is even worse than last year's train wreck of an education bill. The newly amended version decertifies unions that represent instructional personnel, includes the sales tax-sourced voucher program for unaccountable private schools, and expands to statewide the Principal Autonomy Pilot Program initiative without any evidence of having been successful in the past. Senators from both sides of the aisle questioned and debated the amendment at length.
It's for the workers to decide what's best for workers. Decertification of unions is punitive. It's punitive to the working class, who's simply trying to achieve the American dream that's becoming more unachievable each and every day. Please don't punish these workers.
The bill will likely be voted on this Monday, then goes to the House before it hits the governor's desk. We must defeat this bad bill. It's bad for our public schools, and our students' learning environments will suffer. In other news, the Senate held a rare Saturday session to discuss school safety legislation. What was originally just going to be a 3-hour session turned into 8.5 hours of heated debate. Amendments to ban assault weapons and remove the plan to arm teachers from the bill were defeated. The bill will likely be debated and voted on by the full Senate on Monday. Your senators need to hear from you, even if you have already contacted them. Call them and make your voice heard. Head over to the FEA Action Center to take action on both of these issues.
Welcome back, activists, to the FEA session recap. We're coming up on the last week of the 2018 legislative session, but a lot can happen in that short period of time. It was another emotional week in Tallahassee as parents and students imploring lawmakers to pass legislation limiting access to guns once again flooded the halls of the Capitol. 2 Senate committees heard Senate Bill 7026, the Senate's version of the school safety bill. Bedlam broke out in the Senate Rules Committee when the amendment to ban assault weapons was brought up after the committee chair attempted to stifle the testimony. Everyone was ultimately given a chance to testify, most of whom were in support of limiting access to certain types of weapons.
I'm scared to go to school. I'm scared for my friends' lives. I'm scared for my now teachers that I've gotten along with. And from even middle school, I still go visit them sometimes. I'm just scared for all of them, and that's all.
Thank you for being here.
The amendment ultimately failed. Senate Bill 7026 currently raises the age to purchase weapons from 18 to 21, bans bump stocks, and creates the Marshal program in our schools. The so-called Marshal program allows teachers to carry guns in public schools who have completed a certification program.
On February 14th, at about 2:20, Scott, Mr. Beagle, my son, was alone in his classroom with the door locked. He heard shots. He opened the door, gathered the students back into his classroom in order to keep them safe. And he did just that. My son's students are all alive today. Scott's focus was to keep students safe. He did not have to take any split-second decision to say, oh, do I shoot? Do I save? Between shooting and saving, he did not have to make that decision. He just saved. I think I could support the bill if the Marshall Plan was taken out.
Teachers are trained to create engaging, nurturing learning environments so that students can be successful academically. This is their major responsibility. They are not trained to carry firearms. And I am not convinced that this will make the safest schools for our children.
What we did at FEA, led by our president, Joanne McCall, was we convened our executive cabinet because we wanted to reaffirm our position on student safety first. And we also wanted to recommit to our position of having no guns on campuses, especially arming teachers. What we've seen at Marjory Stoneman Douglas is unspeakable. It's a tragic event, but it should also give us the fortitude to do something about it. So what we're asking you to do is make sure that you call your senators, reaffirm the position of you're an educator, you're a teacher. You don't want guns in schools, and we don't want teachers to be armed, but we do want to ensure our own safety, and first and foremost, the safety of every child in every classroom in every school in this state.
House Bill 7055 was heard in its last committee this week before heading to the floor on Friday. FEA President Joanne McCall, along with several other activists, testified against the union decertification amendment, but it fell on deaf ears.
Florida teachers and the unions that represent them do not deserve to be singled out as the target of a political attack. And make no mistake, that's what this is. They deserve to have a voice in the workplace, just like police and firefighters. They deserve to have a voice in the critical issues that face our schools and the students that we serve.
As expected, the union decertification language was snuck back into the monster bill.
We need to have that same kind of passion from our members. They need to call their senators and tell them to vote no on HB 7055.
The bill has a few stops before it hits the governor's desk. Call your senators and make sure they know you are opposed to this bill. These bills are both highly controversial, so we can all expect to see more drama next week as this session comes to a close. Stay tuned and stay involved.